savitur varenam bargo. Hey, here again. Hello. Feelings, whoa, feelings. That's what we're talking about today. Elaine Marolakos Edelson with Astrology Mojo and transformational astrology. I want to help you get your mojo back. How did we do with the full moon in Scorpio? Leah, Scorpio. And we have Elizabeth. Hey. So I'm very excited because our child came home for a couple of weeks at the end of sophomore year in college. Yay! So we were up chatting away last night. It was awesome. Hey, Wendy. Hi, Kate. Now, I wanted to talk about Mars moving into a particular sign. And then last night, my husband and I were talking about a book that he's reading. And I said, hey, that's what I used to talk about all the time. Feelings versus emotions. So that's what I think cued me into, let's go over that one more time. That's what we're going to talk about. So who's here and what's your birthday? So we have a Scorpio, there's a Pisces, we got a Libran, and there's a Cancer, there's a Taurus. So who else? Come say hello to me. Elaine Marolakos Edelson. La. I'm looking for my calendar. You know, we're coming up on 2 powerful eclipses in July. We're already starting to feel the waves coming. One in Cancer, one in Capricorn. And those of us who have Capricorn or Cancer sun, rising moon, prominent placement, as Saturn in Cancer, Saturn in Capricorn, Jupiter in either of those two signs, so that Mars in one of those two signs, we're going to feel it the most, but everyone's going to feel it because on top of it, guess what? There's a Mercury in retrograde. Show hands, jazz hands. It's going to be a show in July and it's going to be awesome if you're paying attention, right? You're paying attention, right? Yes, you are. Yes, you are, because you're a Mojo Mystic. That's what you are. All right, so Mars is in the sign of Cancer. Pent-up emotions. Sometimes they stay pent up until they want to explode. So we have to be careful with that. So this is another reason why I wanted to talk about feelings versus emotions. Oh, there's so much to say. Oh, also, I've been talking about working on projects to help you get your mojo back in many different ways. Not just personal one-on-one readings, but, and Dean's going to post a link. What you can do is actually get your free astrological birth chart. And with it comes your sun sign reading. It's recorded. Awesome. So you want to just, when Dean posts the link, please go for that. A lot of people will ask me on this thread or afterward, I don't know my rising sign. I don't know. So as long as you know your birth time, where you were born, your birth date, like, June 17th, 1992 if you know the birth time, then this will complete the chart. And then you can see your sun, rising, and moon sign. And also, you will get an awesome recording by me, personalized sun sign for you for free. So go and get that because it's really going to help you to understand more about what's going on. Remember what I say, folks, right? Let's hear the chant. The planets don't make you do anything. We live in a cooperation with the cosmos so that when the planets make a move, you feel it. And when you make a move, it's reflected in astrology in the heavens by way of aspects and angles. So basically, astrology merely tells you what time it is. And right now, it's time to talk about feelings versus emotions. So the feeling part of the program, and what I say to people and have said for many years is that feelings are a barometer of what's happening. That's it. Is that a shocker? Does that shock you? That, people will interchange feelings with emotions. And they say, I was so emotional and this was the feeling. So there's a distinction right there you want to be very aware of, that a feeling is something that tells you, it takes your temperature. Okay, you're hot, you're cold, you're sad, you're happy, you're neutral. That's a feeling. That's a biological response. That is what it is. Does that make sense? That your biology is already hardwired with chemicals to keep you safe. To keep you safe. Right? So there are, and we talked about neurons before and what the neurons do in your brain and how you transmit energy and a frequency through those neurons. And let me show you if you haven't seen them lately. Ta-da! Neurons. They're not actually your neurons, but you can just pretend. Okay. Our little secret. So they fire up with electrical impulses, and then they create baby neurons that fire up with the same message that promotes your feeling state. So it's a barometer. Feelings are a barometer of how you're okay, well, that's redundant, isn't it? Let me say it a different way. Feelings are a barometer of your entire experience. So, and a lot of times I will tell a story that, let's pretend, okay, that you're walking down the street, and across the street you see a man beating a dog. And suddenly, you scream, "Stop him! Stop that man! He's beating that dog!" And then you come to your senses a little bit and you take in the bigger picture, and the man is with a child. And then you realize that the dog is rabid. So what happens then? Your thoughts go from one perception that created one set of emotions, right? And they combine. With every thought comes an emotion that resonates a feeling. The feeling is the barometer of what your emotions are telling you based on what your thoughts just perceived. So there's a hierarchy to this whole thing. So that when you think a thought, and you look at that situation, you will produce an emotion. And emotions are energy in motion. They ride the waves. Are they true? They're not true or false. They're what you feel. And so then we come to the barometer. Well, it's like a little part of you is saying, okay, in your brain, you have like a little person standing there saying, all right, pulling levers and gears and turning things and saying, okay, she's feeling really happy right now, or outraged right now, and a little judgmental right now. And that's just what it is based on your biology and your chemistry. But the emotional part ties into your thoughts. So when you first see that guy beating the dog, you think that guy is crazy. You think that guy needs to be arrested. You got your phone out, you're ready to call the police. And then what happens? And then you realize that the man is saving his son or that child. And suddenly that man's a hero in your mind. But with every thought you think, you have created an emotion to couple with that thought. And then you ride the wave of a perception that may or may not be the truth. Wow, that's a lot, huh? I need a drink after that explanation. Okay, so it's really important that you, understand that when you have a feeling, it's merely your body and chemistry are taking your temperature so that you can attach to something that may or may not be true based on a feeling, right? So you say, oh, I have a feeling. Now, intuition is a different kind of feeling, so that comes next. But I have this feeling. Remember, I'm hot, I'm cold, I'm happy, I'm sad. And so that's your biological response, your cellular response. Your neurons are responding to an experience that you're having. Every human being has this. Now, when you bring thoughts into the picture, you start to change your emotional status. And your emotions will go high, they'll go low. Emotions are energy in motion. That's all they are. But we go to extremes with emotions, don't we? We become very dramatic with emotions. It's like, oh my God, this thing just happened. I can't believe. And then you ride that wave until it's amazing that when you see something in the news or you post something on Facebook and it's a very heated topic, it's charged with electricity. There'll be a lot of commentary from a lot of people you don't know, and everyone has a very extreme position on something, right? That's emotional information based on a perception that may or may not be the truth. It's your feeling, your experience, your emotion. Now, what you want to do to temper that if it's not serving you, because if you come to the same place every time and that place brings you to, I'm a victim, or I'll never get past this trauma, or I'll never be able to heal, or I'll never be able to give because I was this thing in the past that you're holding, those neurons that you create in your brain, remember, and I'll show you the picture again, neurons, and this is straight from neuroscientists, folks, right? This is science, that your brain has a very specific way of interpreting your experience. So you put 3 people in a room and you show them a commercial or a movie. Each one of those people might agree on a few topics in that movie, but each one will personalize the experience, right? So your neurons will respond. And this is why the brain doesn't know the difference between what's real or imagined. So you are creating your reality. So if you go back in time and you keep saying, well, yeah, my mother beat me when I was 6. Well, that's sad. And I'm so sorry to hear that. But we need to move on so that you can have health, happiness. You can change the chemicals in your body. It's not easy. I'm not saying snap your fingers and do it. I'm not saying it's a thing to just, blink and it's done. But what happens is if you are trying to get somewhere else in life and you attach to the emotions from the past, what comes up in your feeling state is, alert, alert, we don't trust anyone with the same name because they traumatized us 20 years ago, and people will go to that extreme. So, Memphis is here watching. Hi. Emotions felt recently. Deep sadness, intense stress, inner emptiness, longing for an uplifting string of better luck. You are going to create that. Memphis Holly. Here's how you can create that. And for everyone else, here's what you can do to help yourself in any moment. Remember that your body, mind, spirit connect. You are all those things. And when any one of those things is out of alignment, what happens is your feeling state moves like a barometer. It's like a little gauge that goes back and forth and says, getting hungry. Now, some people who get hungry, we're going to raise my hand on this one. Some people who get really hungry get cranky, right? Because their blood sugar drops. I'll raise my hand on that one. Like my husband doesn't go through that. It's just like typing away, working away. Oh yeah, I guess I'll eat. My body tells me you're about to hit DEFCON 4. So whenever you're experiencing something that really is a wave of anything, you want to check in with the 3 basic, what I call the Holy Trinity on earth. Okay. What does your body need right now? Does it need certain nutrients? Did you overdo it with something? Maybe it's having a reaction. An allergic reaction is not just sneezing. You could get headaches or cramps or stomach aches or leg cramps or gas, So you take care of your biology. When you take care of your biology, then suddenly your emotions are going to change. And when your emotions change, then your thoughts begin to change. And then that just colors the whole barometer feeling gauge state. Does that make sense? So what I want to see you do is that if you're feeling something, maybe your mind keeps going back to a situation that you can't solve. You don't have a solution. You don't know where to go. You feel stuck. And so it brings you to a place of, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And that kind of feeling can emphasize past experiences when you didn't know what to do. So it's like the jazz musician Chick Corea once said, I am the red thread between nothingness and eternity. And on that red thread, anytime you've had an experience where you didn't get your needs met, boom, it gets triggered every time, unless you work it out. Take the time to work out that experience, and you start with now. What are you feeling now? So if you've got, as an example, Memphis Holly says, a longing for an uplifting string of better luck. Okay, luck is something that you will create. There are fortunate events. There's astrological timing too. Remember, the planets aren't doing it to you. It's just a way of looking at when is the ebb and when is the flow. When do you act on something? When do you take it in, hang back? And so that's getting in touch with your intuition. Remember, body, mind, spirit. So when the body gets its biology needs met, and then the mind can think a little bit clearer, because your mind will not think clearly if the biological portion of the program is suffering on any level. It just won't. That's a fact. So I'm not saying don't have a chocolate cake, or don't drink a beer, or I'm not saying do or don't. I'm just saying that if you get into a place where you get stuck and you have a wave of emotion, take really extra good care of your body. Because when it's hydrated, when it's fed, when it's well rested, when you give it the vitamins, minerals, nutrients that it needs, that's when your thoughts can actually become clearer, because your brain and your stomach work together. The large intestine is correlated and linked right to the brain. So the stomach is often called the second brain. So when you take care of your body, then you can think. And then when you start to think, then you see where your thought, that's where I'm going to ask you to become very present and see where your thoughts are going. Do they spiral back to the past? And sometimes the past is sentimental and it's fun and we remember things and we want to laugh and, we miss somebody and we say, oh, remember this time we had with that person, and that's wonderful. But sometimes I would say more than sometimes, people, because it's who we are and how we're wired to think and be, is to protect ourselves first from harm. Remember, the brain doesn't know what's real or imagined. So you have to make that distinction for it. And who's the you? The you is the spirit. That's the you. The biology that you embody on this earth is here to help you get around, to have this rich and full feeling of everything. I love that feeling of fill in the blank. A hot cup of tea on a cold night, or, dessert, or some people love drinking martinis, or some people love the orgasm, and some people love, I don't know who doesn't love the orgasm, but, but some people, love snuggling in bed in the morning on a Saturday. So these feelings that you have represent your experience. They are not good or bad. They're not good or bad. They're just a gauge, again, a barometer of what's happening. So when you get to the spirit portion of the program, and I see we've got a Cancer, a Sagittarian. That's right. Christine says, change your mind, change your life. It's so, yes, absolutely. Very wise. It's not always easy to do, right? That's why we're having these conversations. And who else do we have here? We have an Aquarian. We've got a Leo, and every sign, let's get every sign represented right now. Let's represent. The entire planet represented right here. I love it. I just play with my rocks and my stones while I'm talking. So, and I'm going to pull a happy card for everyone, right? Based on feelings versus emotions. So do you understand? Does anybody not understand the difference between feelings and emotions? Feelings are just a gauge of what you're experiencing, period. It's a biological function. It's like a printout. Oh, this is what this person is feeling. Hot, cold, happy, sad, annoyed, hungry, tired. It's just it. But emotions coupled with thoughts created by your perceptions make or break your day. Help to create or sabotage your progress. And to become more aware of how to do that, I want you to see, I see Kathleen is a Cancer with the little crabby. And October 29th with Gigi. Hi, Gigi. How's the family? October 29th, you're Scorpio. So when you are feeling whatever you're feeling, what's important to do is when you're feeling is to say, wow, have I felt this feeling before, and is it negative? If it's anywhere less than neutral, if you go from negative to positive to, negative to neutral to positive, excellent. You're moving that wave towards something that is going to resonate a frequency of abundance. If you get stuck between negative and neutral, you can go this way, you can go this way, you can go that way, you can go that way, however you want to look at it. If you're stuck between negative and neutral, it's important to become aware of when you're feeling that feeling the most, that emotion. What is it? Is it victimization? And you want to name it. Do I feel like a victim? Do I feel betrayed? Do I feel hurt? Do I feel enraged? Do I feel, okay. So once you name it, then you can say to yourself, when did I feel this feeling before? You might say, oh, last week. Let's go back further. Let's keep going back further. That's why I talk about astrology and the cycles. Jupiter brings up 12-year cycles. And if you clicked on the blue Book Now button somewhere on this page, if you're on a computer, if you're on a phone or tablet, I think you have to scroll to look down, we would cover that, the past 24 years and then 12 years in the future. It's a 1-hour session with me, and it's very thorough and comprehensive with a 30-day follow-up, email follow-up. Now, cycles really help you to understand the repetition of your emotional state based on what your perceptions are, what your experience was. Now, what you'd like it to be in the future, if it's different than what it's been in the past, you have to come to a bridge. You have to make a transition. Yeah, and it doesn't feel good. I remember when I used to smoke cigarettes, and I would tell myself, all right, and I would sometimes just burn them in the ashtray, and I wouldn't even smoke them. I just liked the smoke. So I would burn a lot of incense. I would light cigarettes, and I realized, and I knew that it was covering and clouding my truth. And I thought, if I could just stay in this nebula for a little while longer, it's okay. And I would look at the universe and talk to myself and say, yeah, just, I know something big is going to happen and I don't know what it is. And I'm scared. So as long as I just keep the smoke right here, I'll just, wade in the water and see what happens. And so eventually, as I started to remove the veils that kept me from the true self that I am, and that I am evolving into always, my business exploded, and I met the man that I would one day marry. Hi, Dean. Hi, honey. Thanks. And so letting go of that resistance was my barometer, because every time I had that feeling like, oh no, I'm getting closer to something, I don't know what it is. And I would light more cigarettes or burn more incense. So if you see a pattern that you have that is representative of a fear or a negative past event, that's where you need to start making a bridge to something. And Dean is going to post the link, and I've got something really special for you because I've been working on this for all of the signs, and that is, if you don't know and you want to know more about your sun sign, I've made personalized recordings. So Dean will post the link, and you can click on the link and you can get your birth chart, the chart itself, the wheel, and you can see your sun, rising, moon, and all your planets, where they were the day you were born. What you will need, however, is your birth time to complete the form. You must fill in all the sections to complete the entire form. And then once there, you will get an audio recording of me talking to you personally about your sun sign. So, and that's complimentary, because I want you to be more informed. I want you to start to grow more into what's possible for you and where we are headed in this universe, what we're doing. There's so much amazing science that's happening in this world right now, in space. Now, Uranus, the planet Uranus, just briefly, has entered the sign of Taurus for the next 7 years. And what it's going to do is show the practicality and the value of astrology, of alternative healing methods, of what's new in space that we have not seen before. Something blew a hole in our galaxy. I'm not talking about have you read this? Something blew a hole. I'm forgetting the astrophysicist's name. I forgot her name. I should have wrote it down. Anyway, she talked about, we don't know what it is, but it's not a black hole. Something that's huge, bigger than the size of the sun, punched a hole in our galaxy. Isn't that fascinating? So how do we not feel that ripple? How do you not wake up one day and say, I'm so depressed? I don't know why. Maybe it's because, and we start to reason and start to put it on something. Well, I had this conversation at work the other day, and I really didn't like their political viewpoint, or blah, 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 blah. I ate chicken and it gave me a stomachache. we try to rationalize to understand what is the source of this feeling, of this emotion. And sometimes we don't see that the things that are happening all around us are constantly stimulating every single cell in our body, right? How can it not? Dean, what comedian said, if we are the last hope of the universe, who here thinks that we on Earth are the last hope of the universe? Then we're totally, 4-letter word, ED, screwed. Mm-hmm. Wow, I just went on a 28-minute blab. How's everybody feeling? What emotions do we have today? So, getting back to anyone who's feeling anything less than neutral to negative, anywhere from negative to neutral, and you want to get to positive, wherever positive is for you. A great way to do that is to get present with who you are right now, how you're feeling right now. Inhale, exhale. Always connect your body to your spirit and your mind through breath. Breath is going to save you. Breath oxygenates your blood. Breath brings you into the present moment. Breath gives your brain a chance to open up to something else possible that's more positive. So start breathing, and then give your biology what it needs. You might be dehydrated. You might be cranky because you didn't sleep. You stayed up all night to binge watch a show. Great. I hope you had fun. But the point, and so it's not a judgment. The point is for you to realize that there are solutions and remedies for everything that we do. But sometimes things are irrevocable. If you jump off a building and you break both legs and you crack your neck, that's your biology. It can only heal so much. There are miracles, of course, but so you want to be careful and take good extra care. Be kind to baby because, this body gives you a chance to walk around on this earth and experience things in a very saturated and rich way. I'm going to pull a happy card for people. Is everyone mesmerized? Any comments? How's everyone feeling? What's your emotional state right now? Let me know. Okay, so Capricorn, well, we've got Saturn return, Capricorn, and Saturn is right on you. And so you're trying to make more adult decisions, right? And let things go and be kind to your body. And then we have Scorpio. With a Scorpio blue moon, that was pretty big. So you come to realizations or what your body needs. And then we have, who else is here? Sagittarius, a couple of those are here. And it's been tough sometimes for Sagittarians to let go of the past thing because they want to jumpstart the future by stepping over a few things. So you want to create that bridge. Remember, oh, look, the card I just pulled. Harmony. Pretty card, huh? Very peacock-ish. Harmony. My business early on in my career was called Harmony Through Balance. And I still believe that you can create harmony through creating equilibrium. Balance is mostly for hormones at this point. Because when things are in balance, they're just, you're zenned out and you're meditating and then you're neutral. And that's okay too, and that's great too. But we still want to feel what's going on so that you can grow. Because feelings poke at emotions poke at your belief systems. So, Kathleen says, when I listen to you, I feel hopeful. Great, thank you. What an honor. I so appreciate that. Well, then take that feeling of hope and do one thing in the next hour that makes you feel so happy. Anything. A crossword puzzle, chewing gum, dusting the living room. Sometimes I put on great music and I dust the living room and I go, yeah, I just got some exercise. Yay, happy card. Libra. So, Miss Carlita, Libra. Big business decisions for Librans these days, right? And that feeling that pressure. No pressure. There's no pressure to move forward. There really isn't. The pressure comes with that urgency of emotion, and then the feeling says, you know. Hal, open the pod bay doors, Hal. I'm sorry, I can't do that. Harmony. Harmony is a thing that you can create by finding that one thing that gives you joy and expand on it. So if music helps, and I say anything that helps to move energy, and that can be walking, it can be chanting, singing, exercising, you know, because your biology, it needs endorphins. And when you move, it's proven. You may fight it and resist it. I know I did. Who's raising their hand first? Me. When you exercise, you create, and you don't have to go all out, you know, PBX, whatever they're called, 90, you know, Mr. or Mrs. Olympia. You don't have to do that. Walking promotes, if you're stuck in a chair for whatever reason, arm exercises, breathing exercises. Remember, when you move your energy, what you are moving is cellular toxins out of your body. Then your brain can think better. Then you replenish with good food, excellent clean water, vitamins, minerals, nutrients, amino acids, things that your body needs to survive. You are a biological creature first on this earth. You're always a spirit wherever you go. But inside the body, you got to take care of it. And it does help when you move that energy. Then you purge that energy. Clean out a closet. Purge. Do a liver cleanse. You take extra dandelion or milk thistle. Purge. I personally take food grade diatomaceous earth. You start with 1/4 teaspoon a day, the powder. Put it in some warm water. I mix it with magnesium powder, magnesium glycinate, and I have it every morning, way before I eat any food. And what it does, and then I build up 1/4 teaspoon of diatomaceous earth, food grade, every 3 days. And then on the 4th day or 5th day, I move up to 1/2 teaspoon, 3 more days. And then 3/4 teaspoon, 3 more days, and then a full teaspoon. And I keep doing that till I get to a tablespoon, and I do that for 3 days, and then I stop for a week and I start over again. And what diatomaceous earth does is it kills all the parasites in your body and heavy metals. So it flushes you constantly, and you go through a detox, and it's not uncomfortable. It doesn't hurt. And it's just like a chalky texture, but in water with magnesium glycinate, it's a lemony, and it helps. So Christine says, I have been purging all kinds of stuff. That's great. That's phenomenal, right? Don't you feel better? So I want to see you get what you need, folks, and get your mojo back. So Dean has posted the link. You can go to get your free chart, your complimentary chart, and make sure you do. We have to fill in all the fields. And then you can find out your sun, your rising, your moon, where your planets are and all that stuff. But you need to actually have all the correct data, where you were born, the city, state, country, and or country, your exact birth time, your birth date, and the month, the date, the year. And then once you get your chart, you will hear me talk to you directly. For your sun sign. It's a sun sign reading. And it's all complimentary. I want you to be able to benefit from what we're talking about so that you understand more. I will talk through the lens of astrology, but also through health, through neuroscience, through writing, because I write every day. I'm also a historical fiction fantasy author. And what's possible, spirituality, different modalities, right? So, yeah, get your mojo back. Awesome. Memphis Holly says, hey, I mix a tidbit of diatomaceous earth to my cat's wet food. Great. It gets rid of parasites. And if you have a small pet like a mouse or a rat, you don't want to use diatomaceous earth because it can give them lung disease because they breathe in that powder and then they can't breathe. Because literally, if you saw it up close, it's got little barbs on it. And if you have ants and you don't want them in the house, or you have any kind of pests, you sprinkle it around the windows and outside the door, and it keeps them away. But in your body, it gets rid of toxins and parasites and bugs and things and heavy metal that you don't need or want. So yeah, cool. That was good. That was great, huh? How was that for you? I hope that was helpful. We are going to be spending time, and remember, a lot of what I say might be specific to today's date, but most of what I'm saying is evergreen and lasts, for as long as you need it to. So I will be back on Friday, the 24th, in the morning, Pacific time, Arizona time at 10 a.m. And we're going to talk more about the Sun and Mercury in Gemini, what we're coming up on. We've got a lot of great combinations astrologically that are here to promote your timing for purging in a happier way. Let's all get happy about letting it go. And then I will see you again. Come back Friday. I'll be here and we'll chat some more. Be well, be sparkly. I'm grateful. Hope you are too. Thanks for stopping by.